Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Many Lloydminster teachers were not in their classrooms today as they participated in province-wide strikes. With negotiations between the provincial government and the Saskatchewan Teachers Federation at a standstill, more of these strikes could happen in the coming weeks. Our Ben Lowan has more.
Teachers from around the city beat the pavement alongside Highway 16 as they participated in another day of strikes. Negotiations between the government and the Teachers Federation have made little progress in recent weeks, and President Derek Armstrong hopes that more meaningful conversations can happen.
We've seen the government continue to not negotiate in good faith. We've seen them not engage in meaningful conversation at the negotiations table. Minister Cockrell continues to state that the best deal will be found at the table, and yet they continue to circumvent the process and make backdoor deals outside of the negotiation process.
The biggest concerns for the STF from the start of the negotiations have been class sizes and complexities. And as negotiations continue at this slow rate, these issues are becoming more dire in Lloydminster classrooms.
It has a big impact on learning. It's really hard to get to 27, 28 kids when there's only one of us and not any educational assistance support like we used to have. So it's difficult to meet all the needs when there's such diverse children within the room.
You want to be there to reach every single child, and that's what we're going for, is being able to do that for our children.
The students have also felt the impacts of the strike. Many events like the Optimus Band Festival have been cancelled, and the biggest high school basketball tournament, Hoopla, is close to a similar fate. But no matter the circumstances, the teachers have felt the support from their students.
The students are supportive, as is our families. They know that we're fighting for them. They know that I'm not here for me, I'm here for them. I want them to get the best education possible.
With an agreement still not being made between the two parties, Lloydminster will see another teacher strike coming up this Friday as part of a rotating strike system throughout the province. For Primetime Local News, I'm Ben Lowan.
They say you're never too old to learn the craft of art, but you are also never too young. In this week's Beyond the Classroom, we see how a school in Lloyd is hosting an art academy for those young students to learn more.
College Park School for the last 3 years has held an art academy. Local artist Brandy Hofer dedicates her time to give the students the tools and know-how to succeed in art.
Art Academy was developed to provide those resources for children and opportunities and just the wherewithal and the knowledge of what their creativity can do, it is an asset to think creatively and have those skills to carry on throughout life.
The Academy focuses on many aspects of art, ranging from drawings to more hands-on crafts.
Well, we've worked on air-dry clay, and we've made sculptures and some ornaments, and right now we're working on self-portraits.
For the students, a safe place to learn and experiment with art is the ultimate reward.
The thing I like about it is just the community, and I think it's like just everyone's different creative ideas are just really good, and it's just, the people are really nice and everything.
And that's all for this week's edition of Beyond the Classroom.
At Lakeland College, our students go beyond the classroom for immersive, hands-on learning experiences. It's about experiencing the real world.
We are officially into the first week of spring, but we've dipped into colder temperatures again, and southern areas of Alberta are under a snowfall warning. We touched base with Global News meteorologist Peter Quinlan to find out how long the colder weather will last and what's in store for Lloydminster as spring progresses.
I am speaking with Peter Quinlan today from Global News. And Peter, there seems to be a system that is popping up down in the southern part of the province and some advisories happening already down there. What can Lloydminster expect here with spring just starting?
Yeah, that is a concerning system, certainly, but it is going to stay south of the Lloydminster area. That's the good news. That's why the weather alert's kind of cut off just south of the region. Those areas to the south, though, could see anywhere between 25 or 15 to 25 centimeters. So they're very much still in the winter. The Lloydminster area, though, is going to be on the cold side of this system, so that is going to keep those temperatures down below the average right through the rest of the week. The first week of spring will definitely be more like winter than spring.
Are we expected to get any precipitation at all during this next week or so?
Honestly, I don't see a ton in the weather models for the Lloydminster area. There might be a trace of a few flurries here or there, and there's a chance later next week that we could see some. There's still a lot of uncertainty in that, so you'll have to keep checking back in on the latest on that. But in the foreseeable future, the next week, not really looking at any significant precipitation because we'll be on the drier side of that system, if you will.
Okay. I know that March is always a bit of a crapshoot, so I
Mhm.
guess we get what we get, right?
Yes, exactly. You'll have to wait and see. It's definitely more winter cold, at least, not as much winter snow.
I guess what is the outlook for the spring for, say farmers who are making plans right now?
Yeah, it's definitely not ideal, Leanne. We are looking at warmer than normal conditions moving in eventually as we work our way toward April, May, even June, and also drier than normal conditions. We really need to get spring rains to lower that fire danger rating. And there's also this period before the grass and the foliage greens up that things get very, very dry. We haven't had much moisture, and there is concerns for early start to fire season as well in the forested areas of the Lakeland region. We're going to be watching that very closely. Hopefully we can get some decent spring rains, but precipitation is a little bit more uncertain to forecast. At this point, it does look like it'll be hot, dry, not ideal for the growing season as well.
All right. Well, thank you so much again, Peter. I do appreciate your time today.
For sure. Thanks for having me.
And Thomas Wildman joins me now to take another look at our little forecast. And what do we have coming up for us, Thomas?
Well, we mentioned it yesterday, and the cold weather should be sticking around here for a while, but as Peter mentioned there, not a lot of snow coming up in the forecast, and unfortunately it looks like rain isn't going to be a thing later on, but that's April showers issues right now. But for March right now, if you're looking for these nice temperatures to continue, we should be seeing something similar to what we've been feeling for this last little week. So it was a solid day here in Lloydminster today. Our high for today was -7, low of -16. The usual is a high of +2 and a low of -10. So a little bit cooler than the average, but we're still doing quite well. And it's, again, compared to earlier in the month of March and later in February, where we were down to those -30 temperatures with wind chill, I certainly will take this any day of the week. Lloydminster Airport today right now is looking at -7 for today, -12 with the wind chill right now, the 9-kilometer wind going north right now. It's a pretty nice day out there, and that will reflect throughout all of Lloydminster here as well. Taking a look at North Battleford, they're similar to us, -8 with the wind chill there down to -13. And taking a look at our friends out in Cold Lake, they're at -7, getting down to a -11 with their wind chill. So the warmest of us all here with the least amount of wind chill there in Cold Lake. Taking a look at the current temperatures across the region, we'll see here there's Lloydminster at that -7 mark. A bit north of us is Marwayne at -6, Cold Lake at that -7 mark as well. Bonneville and Lac La Biche sitting at a -4 mark right now. St. Paul at -5, Fagerville and Edmonton both at -4, as is Vermilion or Wainwright down south as well, and Provost a little bit cooler at -5 for us today. Taking a look at the Saskatchewan side, Isle La Crosse a little bit cooler there at -10, as is North Battleford right now. And then Pierceland sitting at -5, Green Lake at -7, and Meadow Lake at -8. St. Walburg also at that -7 mark, and Maidstone and Macklin similar, a little bit down south, -8 and -7 for them today. Taking a look at tonight's forecast here in the border city, we're going to be a low of -17. It's going to be cold with some increasing clouds, 11-kilometer southeast winds, so a little bit nasty for that. With 3% precipitation, it's likely not going to be anything for us today. Taking a look at our friends out at North Battleford, they're going to be plenty cold tonight, -20, partly cloudy. It's going to be very cold out there. Not super cold with that wind chill. They're only got a 9-kilometer one coming for them, but just be sure to be well bundled up if you're doing any evening activities this lovely Wednesday night. And finally, Cold Lake is going to be at -15, a little warmer for their low. Cold with some increasing cloudiness. Got an east-southeast wind there, going 11 kilometers for them tonight. So definitely be bundled up anywhere if you're anywhere here in the Midwest region. Now we'll take a look at our upcoming 3-day forecast here in Lloydminster. For tomorrow, we're going to be looking at a -6 with a low of -16. It's going to be cloudy and pretty cold. definitely lots of wins for tomorrow. But as the week goes on and we finish out here, Friday we're going to get to -5 and -3 for Saturday. Plenty of sunshine for that. Lows of -16 and -14. But that will do it for our first look at the weather forecast. We will have some more news headlines coming up after the break.
The Lloydminster Bobcats are in an incredibly competitive Round 1 playoff series against the Canmore Eagles, and the Bobcats are making sure fans in Lloydminster can be a part of every game. Our Thomas Wildman has more on how to get the most out of the AJHL playoffs.
Today I'm happy to be joined by Nigel Dubé, the general manager of the Lloydminster Bobcats. He is here today to talk about the watch parties that the Bobcats are hosting for this playoff series against the Canmore Eagles, as well as some other exciting events that the Bobcats will be having throughout the rest of the playoffs and into the summer. And so thank you so much for being with me today, Nigel.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
And so, Nigel, you guys are hosting watch parties for the away games during this playoff series at the Canadian Brew House. Just talk to me about why you guys are hosting them and how exciting it is to have the community come out and support you, even though the Bobcats aren't in town.
I think a big thing for us, obviously, our following, is growing every year, and we're thankful for that support. And just working with Cord and the crew over at the Canadian Brew House, it's a way for fans that might not be traveling. We had a great following last night in Canmore, but for the fans that midweek can't take off to Canmore, we want to give them an opportunity to get together as a kind of a fan crew, and Cord and the crew over there really helped us out, and a lot of excitement there and a lot of energy. Before we're back home Friday night at the Civic.
And so you guys are hosting Game 5 at the Centennial Civic Center this Friday. What are some of the things that you guys are doing to help bring fans in and make sure that you get the best support for a very pivotal Game 5?
Well, I think the way the series went so far, it's obviously going to be entertaining. We were down 3-0 last night and fought back to even it up, and then just came up short. But entertaining hockey, first and foremost, there's no doubt about that. It's playoff hockey. It's Alberta Junior Hockey League. The playoffs are exciting. You look around the league, there's some really exciting hockey going on and entertaining hockey. We also have City Furniture stepped up big. They're going to give away a $1,799 sectional for one lucky fan. All they got to do is enter their name when they come in, and opportunity to win there. And then we'll be doing different giveaways throughout the game. But we want to have that energy that we had at the end of the regular season with those crowds of 1,100, 1,300. We want to pack that in there again on Friday night and really behind the troops here and get them going for a big W.
And finally, Nigel, what are some of the exciting things that the Bobcats are going to be doing this spring and summer that will be coming up once the playoffs are all finished up?
We'll be hosting our prospects camp and futures camp to start April, which is always exciting as we work towards the future too as the now. And then Flavor Festival coming up May 4th. I think last year was our first year for it. It's an exciting lineup. We've had many vendors coming back from last year, and we have a lot of new ones coming this year from all over Saskatchewan, which is really cool to see. And we want to take a step that way too. And tickets are on sale. Tickets are going well. But it's just between the food and the drink vendors coming. If you thought last year was a good one, this one's going to be a whole nother level.
Thank you so much for all the information, Nigel, and good luck to you and the Bobcats in this playoff series, and hopefully you guys can get past the Canmore Eagles and have a deep playoff run after that.
Now it's time to have a look at all of the pet pictures you've been sharing with us for our Pets of the Day.
We want to see your pets. Send photos of your pet and their name to have them featured on Pet of the Day.
back with another episode of Healthy Thriving Family After Divorce. Stephanie Dobson is here with us once again. Stephanie is a lawyer, mediator, and online educator, offices with Hankett Divorce Law and Mediation in Lloydminster and Edmonton. Stephanie, thanks for joining us once again.
Thanks for having me.
We have been speaking about the Divorce Act, which was changed several years ago these past couple of weeks. And today we're going to continue with that with part 3 of the series, specifically centering around relocation. So, Stephanie, tell me, what does relocation mean now in this changed Divorce Act?
Well, the Divorce Act, for our viewers who may not have seen the last couple of episodes, was updated in March of 2021. And specifically in the legislation now, there's a relocation clause. So there's two different types of what we'll call moving that's addressed by the new Divorce Act. So one is called a change of residence, and one is called a relocation. So change of residence is addressed in one of the sections, and it's very broad. It's basically changing where you're living, irrespective of how far the move is from your current location. Relocation is addressed in a completely different section. It also deals with change of residence, but it goes one step further. It's where that change is likely to have a significant impact on the child's relationship with the left behind parent or others. So you'll notice in the language in this new act, we talked in the last couple of episodes about relationships. So that's the cornerstone of this definition. So that's it doesn't give a certain geographic parameter to the change. So it could be 50 kilometers, it could be 500 kilometers, but irrespective, it's when there's a significant impact on the relationship.
So once it's been determined that there is going to be either a relocation or change of residence, what happens next?
So if you're the parent who has parenting time or decision-making responsibilities for the children, then you're required to give notice of a move. So whether that's the change of residence or the relocation. So who do you give notice to? You give notice to anyone with parenting time, decision-making responsibilities, or contact time with a child, and that's all defined within the Act. And there's difference, though, in the type of notice that you need to give. So for a change of residence, it's just notice. Again, it's not permission. It's notice prior to the move. It needs to be in writing. It needs to give the date of the move, the address, and the new contact information. For a relocation, though, it has to be all of that information, plus the notice needs to be given 60 days ahead of the relocation, and the relocating parent needs to provide a proposal for how the parenting time and decision-making responsibilities will be carried out after the relocation.
Now, what if there is an objection to either a relocation or a change of residence?
Well, you can imagine that happens quite often. So for a change of residence, it's really not about a formal objection process. It's more about knowing where the children will be residing. But with a relocation, there is a formal objection process, and that there is a specific form that the objection or the objection needs to be on, and there needs to be either an objection or a court application needs to be received by the relocating parent within 30 days, or then the relocation can't occur until there's further agreement or a court order.
And now what happens if they can't resolve? Because as you know, you've dealt with enough cases to know that sometimes people just aren't going to budge on these things. So if they can't come to a resolution, Stephanie, what happens next?
So relocation is often one of those hot button issues. So it's something where, I want to relocate with the kids and, over my dead body kind of thing. So I always say, though, where there's a will, there's a way. So if the parties do try to resolve it on their own and they can't, there's steps between the kitchen table discussion and court. So there's always mediation and the collaborative process if the parties do want to try to stay out of court. I'm often helping parties to resolve relocation cases out of court, and frankly, I plan to continue to do that. So that can certainly be a first step. But however, if the parties are unwilling to agree that they come together in either mediation or the collaborative process to negotiate this typically high conflict discussion, then there's always the court as a final go-to place for resolution.
All right, Stephanie. Well, thank you so much for the information. This has been very interesting and lots of changes to the act that affect a number of different things. So thank you so much again for speaking with me, and we'll be back to chat next week.
Yeah, thanks, Stacey.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery, downtown Lloydminster.
We have a special guest today on Primetime Local News. Sean Austin is joining us today. Sean, thank you so much for joining me.
My pleasure. It's always nice to be able to see people and chat about music.
Well, let's talk about the fact that you're going to be coming to our area of the woods here next month, not too much longer. You're going to be here as part of the Country Mixtape Tour. So tell me a
Yeah.
little bit about that.
This is a bit of a different show. It's a different style. It's something unique. It's something I've never heard of myself, let alone been a part of. So TJ Miller, Andrew Hyatt, and myself are going across Canada, bringing a mixtape, for lack of a better term, of songs to the country fan. You know, we're all pretty unique artists as individuals. So I think it's going to be a really cool way to show off a little bit of what we think we do best.
Well, you're going to be in Edmonton on April the 12th for that tour, and you have a few more dates after that. Are you excited about this and kind of like you said, the unique format and getting
Yeah.
I mean, touring is fun anyways for most people, right? So
Hell
are
yeah.
you really kind of hyped about this?
1,000%. I think I really do have a love for the road. I love getting a chance to go across this great country, and this is one that's. I mean, anytime we get to do a tour, it's great. But this one is a little bit more unique because these guys are my buddies. I've known these guys forever, and on top of being artists, you know, we like to, you know, goof off a bit and you know, be who the guys we are. So it'll be fun to be stuck on a bus together and create some memories.
One of the things that people enjoy about tours is getting to meet the people that they actually are see performing. Is there an opportunity for you to meet the fans at all and for them to, you know, go to the merch table and buy some stuff and maybe say hi?
Yeah, we are absolutely fan forward, and I can speak on behalf of the other guys for that too. We have a VIP event that we're doing beforehand with Johnsonville Grill and Greets. So we're going to be able to hang out and have some hot dogs and burgers and stuff. I don't know what we're doing yet, but there's going to be that before. We're hanging out at the merch table. We're hanging out, you know, around all night. And this show is going to be a little bit more. It's high energy, but we've put so many different elements into it in a short amount of time that there's some intimate chances to um, you know, have that fan interaction, and they can see some different sides of what we do as well.
Now, this is coming at a good time for you as well because you have a new album coming out. So tell me about that.
Yeah, that one I feel like we've been working on this one for a while. And this is we're releasing, yeah, in a few weeks, right before the tour starts. And you know, obviously that's purpose built. We do that for a reason. And but this one is it's another collection of songs that I think not only are a little bit envelope pushing for me, but truly the best work to date. I've said that in the past, but I think that this jump is probably the greatest one that I've ever had professionally and as an artist. And I'm beyond excited for this to get out into the world. And I think there's a lot of different things that the country fan and those who know me in the past and my music will um, be able to dig into. There's some, you know, classic Sean Austin stuff and some stuff that's really probably where I'm going to continue to go in the future.
Were you involved with writing on all of the songs on the new album?
So, funnily enough, I haven't recorded one of my own songs for some time. Country's a little bit of a unique space where I write like crazy, and I've had, you know, it's always a pleasure that a lot of people, or you know, people have cut my music. But we kind of work on a best song wins, and when I write something, maybe it doesn't fit me, but somebody will send me a song that goes, oh, you know, this is great. My last single, "Settle for a Drink," was a Morgan Wallen song that, you know, just happened to work great for my sound. So it's funny how that industry, that world works. But yeah, this is it's all stuff that I relate with greatly, but didn't put a pen to paper as much as I wish I did.
When you are putting out an album, there's obviously a ton of work involved. How do you decide which songs are the ones that make the cut? Because I know in a lot of cases I've spoken with artists and they're like, well, we could have had 30 songs on this if we wanted to. So, what in
Yeah.
your mind, when you make the decision, what does a song need to have to make the cut for an album?
Yeah, we go through hundreds of songs to boil it down to, you know, however many we're putting on the project. But truthfully, it's first off authenticity. It has to be real. It has to be something that I relate with and something that I think that the country fan relates with. because I think more than anything, country fan will see through fake. So it has to be something that really drives a memory home, or a thought, or a feeling that people can connect with. And then on top of that, for me, I really focus on how I think things will equate to the live show. So everything, as much as we work so hard for it to sound great recorded, when we do these tours and when we do our festival dates and stuff, it really in my head has to um, sound great live. So those are the big two. There's other things, but those are the ones that I focus on the most.
Well, Sean, it's been a pleasure speaking with you today. And I just wanted to say one more thing. First of all, congratulations. You're a new
Thank you.
dad.
Yeah,
So,
brand new.
how is that fitting into all of this?
It's been good. It's he's amazing already. It worked out in our favor a little bit. We were going to run this tour earlier in the year. It was going to be January, February, and there was a very good chance that I was going to be on the road when he showed up. So thankfully, everything got pushed back, and he showed up a little bit early too. So it's been nice to have some time at home before I got to get on the road. But definitely makes leaving home a little harder this time.
Well, you obviously have lots on the go, Sean, but we're looking forward to seeing you here in Edmonton, part of the Country Mixtape Tour on April 12th. If people are looking for more information, where is the best place to find it all in one place?
For this, countrymixtapetour.com. It's kind of the landing page for everything we got going on. If anybody follows TJ Andrews or myself social media, you're going to see everything there too. But yeah, countrymixtapetour.com is the place, and I can't wait to see you guys out there.
All right, Sean. Well, thanks so much for speaking with me today.
Thank you.
There is yet another twist in the controversy surrounding the Princess of Wales. Britain's data watchdog is looking into a report that staff at the hospital where Kate underwent abdominal surgery had attempted to access her private health records. The Daily Mirror newspaper reports at least one staff member from the London clinic tried to snoop at Kate's notes during her stay in January. The princess was discharged almost 2 weeks after her visit. Kensington Palace has given little information about Kate's condition beyond saying that it was not cancer. Yeah, the British media takes it to a whole new level, don't they?
Well, I think it's an important part. It's, they're like celebrities, right? But so they want, I'm hoping it's mostly out of a hope of care, not a malicious thing. And I wonder what a doctor or any practitioner at the London hospital really wants to know about Kate's health records. I'm sure they're not that scandalous, but yeah.
Well, I guess it remains to be seen. We'll probably never know. That's all we have for you tonight. Thank you for joining us, and have a good night.